Morning, everybody, and welcome to Digital Island's presentation on the Mitel Telepo platform, leader in cloud unified communications. What we're going to do is just run through a quick presentation on the architecture and benefits of the Mitel Telepo platform, and then we'll run into a live demonstration where we'll cover off user settings, a little bit on contact center, and some of the user applications which are available. So just to lead off, Digital Island manage our own platform. If I can just change screens here, here we go. So a bit of an overview on Digital Island. We're a business that specializes in unified communications. We do business to business only and deal with medium to large enterprise. We were founded in 2004, where we established a very strong market share through being able to deliver very high levels of customer satisfaction. In 2017, Spark bought us 100% and now own us, and we sit within the multi-brand of Spark, specializing in unified communications, cloud services, but also we are a full telco, so can provide any other services and put it under a single wrap. As I mentioned before, we're very strong in the customer experience, and we on a 6 monthly basis run a net presenter score where we at the moment are sitting at 19%. Industry standard at -1. We really do excel in that space. Other indicators as to how well we work with our clients is our bills are paid on time. We've got a very strong billing platform which allows the clients to clearly see and account for all of their services that they're consuming and allocated costs effectively. Therefore, bills are paid. And we have a very strong client retention with less than 3% of client churn. Where we have really established our space in the market is around cloud telephony or unified communications as a service. We, 10 years ago, partnered with Mitel, where we built our first platform, which has now become a very well-matured and enterprise platform delivering very strong contact center. Mitel is an organization globally, a #1 in cloud services, and #1 in 5 of the core markets, which is around business unified communications, mobile, contact center, etc. The infrastructure that we've built in New Zealand, which is owned and managed by Digital Island, is all around high resiliency and redundancy. And what we have built in New Zealand data centers, so housed here in New Zealand, are 2 instances where we have full replication of our platform. We've delivered over the last 12 months 100% availability or uptime on our core infrastructure, and we've even set up a third site which we use for sandboxing, testing of new applications and rollout. So the important part about this infrastructure is this is N+2 type redundancy, and it gives you the ability to and confidence that you've got the most highly available platform that's available here in New Zealand. As a solution, we provide services right down to your traditional desk phones, which nicely is managed on Mitel hardware. So end to end, we're able to provide some very strong solution and leaving nothing behind. So if it is a traditional desk phone or conference unit that you require, we can provide that. But we also take it through to the very high sort of technology end where we're running full services on mobile devices, and I'll be able to demonstrate that for you a little bit later. What you get with regard to the licensing, it is a consumption base and it's unified communications as a service. So when you subscribe to the Mitel platform, you get obviously a phone extension, you get a DDI number, the voice channel, soft phone clients, so applications right from mobile applications, desktop applications, reception consoles that can run on any of the platforms. So you can run on Mac or you can run on PC. There's no sort of inhibitors around that area. We run the standard, what you'd expect. So you've got presence, you've got Microsoft Outlook integration. I'll demonstrate some of those features a little bit later. As I mentioned, all of the different tools that you'd require to run very effective cloud services. You've got standard transfer capabilities. At the front end, you've also got the capability of running quite complex IVRs, hunt groups, automatic call distributions, you've got voicemail, ad hoc call recording out of the box. And then there are other options that you can fold in on top of that. So you may have a small service desk or a contact center. You can add licensing to enable some more effective client services. API integration is built around an OpenStack integration. So you've got standard integration into the likes of Salesforce and cloud services, Microsoft Dynamics, Sugar. You can also, for compliance in certain industries, create a service desk which has got full-time call recording, which is also PCI compliant if you've got any financial regulations that you need to meet. When it comes to project delivery, it is a fast process, generally 4 to 6 weeks we look at. It's very structured in the way it operates, and it's managed by a dedicated project manager from within Digital Island. Clean and easy and very strong outcomes is obviously what we're looking for. And being a cloud service, this is something that we can really deliver with accelerated requirements if need be in the matter of days. So what it's all about is a simplified experience that you can run your team anywhere at any time, and your seamless integration into the different business applications that you may already be running. What I'll do is I'll move now to a live demonstration, and within that, what we're going to look to do is show some of the core features of the product. What we'll do is open up, if anybody's got some questions, then please feel free to respond through the group chat, and we can just deal with those towards the end of the demonstration. So what you should now be able to see is my desktop application, which is the Telepo app that runs on basically any device. You can run it on tablets, iPads, phones, whatever device that you're going to be running. When it comes to the user, the views, etc., it behaves as you'd expect any of the standard applications. You can obviously get it to change the view to suit. And if you've got single screen, you can actually have this sitting in background. So when it becomes activated when an incoming call arrives, or if you do a quick key dial, it simply jumps to the front, and you can then have full control over any of your calling. As a quick navigation around the desktop, or what everybody will see here, what I have is everything turned on. So this has got your contact center, it's got reception consoles, it's got different queues which are available, but the navigation's always very clean, and it's clear as to all the different users. You get to choose how it looks and how it behaves on an individual basis. So in the blue panel along the top here, it basically gives the activity as to what state I'm in, if I've missed calls, if there are chats, if there's anything that's I need to be notified of, it will show up in this blue panel on the top here. It will also give notifications on my mobile app if I'm running my mobile phone as well, and also little green or red notification bubbles on the side of any of the applications I may need to drill into. For example, a voicemail, there'll be a red indicator button on there also. As I go through, I can see my state, all of the different numbers and so forth that I have, so that all numbers have a DDI. My mobile number's in there. I can actually even start emails or whatever I need to from the screen. User is my name. I'm able to adjust what my caller line ID, the number that I present to mobile numbers when I call out. For example, if I'm operating from a switchboard or a service desk, I don't necessarily want the individual call to come back to me. I want it to come back into a service desk. By standard business practice for myself, I run that by way of a DDI number, so people know how to get hold of me. When it comes to the likes of presence, what we have within Mitel is what we call rich presence. So it monitors a number of different types of triggers to make sure that the system's able to behave in the way that best suits the state that you're in. So, lunches away from desk, vacations, etc. You can open up options where a caller can arrive, they are offered to leave a voicemail or press 1 if they're wanting personal assistance. So all of this can be set up as either inherent rules. So these process profiles here are managed centrally. And obviously through this, you control it in a way that is company-wide. But what you've also got is the option to customize this a further level to yourself. For example, I do a lot of traveling, so I work remotely quite regularly. What this does is it leaves me as present, but I've set up all my different profiles to be able to manage that. So if I look at how I've set that one up, I'm working remotely. It will show my activity that I'm out of the office. I'm still available, and I can even select the icon that I want behind there. If I want a quick diversion, if I'm working from somebody else's office and have a DDI number, I can even load that in there. So what it's about is to make these very quick and easily accessible and customizable by the individual. So it's not something that you call up the IT service desk and go, well, look, I'm working from such and such. Can you change my profile, please? It's all self-managed. This area here, you can basically just write messages. So as a group wide, you can see either title, process, what people are up to, and that's how that shows up. Through here, you've got a quick search key, which is basically when you're wanting to create any task or calling or activity, you start on the quick search key. And if it's a number, if you wanted to dial a number, you simply dial it in. You press enter, and it will dial that number. If you're searching for a division or a group, I can, for example, look for my sales team and find, okay, I can now very quickly see that I've got Eugene who's available. I can transfer calls or make a direct call towards them. Now, what I've done, or what I do have, is capabilities where I can control certain aspects of my users as well. Now, this might be something that you turn on for a receptionist or for an administrator, but standard users are not able to, for example, change profiles. Now, may have seen that Amunjit is away sick today, so I can now change his profile to represent what he's up to and where he's going. As I say, this is user controlled, so not everybody can have this capability. I can see obviously all of the different numbers I can contact them, dial, copy, send, however I'm wanting to manage that. Now, another part that shows up is as we go down through each of these users, I can see an icon here which indicates that there is information or there is an activity sitting within their Outlook or their calendar. And it's going to change their profile. As for Amara's case here, she's going to be busy until 10 o'clock. That's based on her Outlook calendar, where she's actually loaded an activity in there. I can actually override that if I need to. Other capabilities on each of these users, as you can see, you've got your standard if you wanted to make a phone call. One of the nice sort of operations of this application is you'll see as you mouse over an icon, rather than having to remember what each of these icons mean, what it does is it gives you in plain text what exactly that is. So I can start a phone call, I can start a chat, which is standard instant messaging from within the group. Anybody on the Mitel platform is able to do this. And we can even set up federation for multiple companies who may have the same requirement. SMS, so the system just as default, I'm able to send text messages off my computer. It becomes very useful when you're wanting to send complex details. It might be job ticket numbers, or it could be a URL address. You can simply copy and paste into the text frame and send. So it arrives as an SMS or a text on Amunjit's mobile phone. As we go through, I can see on the right-hand side here that this is actually monitoring the calls. And I've got an incoming call at the moment for Clint, and I've got the opportunity even to pick that one up if I need to. So this is a live demonstration. This is what's happening on our queues at the moment, or what's happening on our trunk usage. As I look through down the left-hand side, I have the different icons which I may want to look through for my call log. And identify who's called. I've saved names, so it's showing who those people are. And I can even get through and find a lot more detail as to how these sit. If I'm wanting to save it as a favorite or tag it, I'm able to do that as well. So you've got your call logs, it may just be the missed calls, and inbox shows you your voicemails. You can see here I've got a call or a voicemail from George. And it's just a standard media player, which allows me to go through and play that. And it will just simply play it back either through my headset. I'm also able to save these if I'm wanting, or delete. So play it back through different media sites. My team allows me to run different lights of streams or chat. Again, very useful in being able to quickly respond to people or send complex details. They can copy and paste, and I can even send it to, if it's a group. So for example, I've got a stream here, which has got 6 people who exist within this group, and I can quickly share information, files, and even create to-do lists. So it becomes very powerful as a team management tool if you're running a division or a department as a manager. This is a standard operation that you'd expect or you get for your licensing. Below here, we have the capability to do contact center. So the way Digital Island operate is we've got multiple queues based on IVR or overflows or how we've constructed our call flows. And for us, it's all about making sure that we are able to answer our clients' requests within a 60-second. You'll be talking to one of our staff. So ultimately, we've got each of the different queues, and we can drill down on these. So we can see who's available, what their status is. You can even have the capability of what we call skill-based routing. So for example here, within the account manager's queue, Amonjit has got a skill base of 1, which means any call that comes in, if he's available, if his state shows that he can take a call, the call will be delivered quickly and efficiently to him. If, for example, Amonjit's unable to take the call, we can see that it will overflow first to the 2s, then the 3s, and then obviously to the next people available to take the call. But the important part is to distribute to the most suitable person in the first instance without delay. And that's what the system is enabled to do. As a supervisor, I'm able to see each of the queues, who's in, what their state is, and even have the ability to log people in and out of queues. So manually, I can see, look, we need some more people who can take these calls. I can simply log people in and make them instantly active within the queues or available within the queues. So I've got a couple of views. I can look at it by group and analyze what's happening per queue, or I can have a look at the individual agents. So now I can go through, have a look at myself. I can see what queues I'm logged into. Shows I'm out of the office at the moment, but available. And these are the different queues, and the skill levels are got based across that. The next icon here is, again, more of a supervisory type capability, but what it does is it shows all of the queues, all of the calls in a live status, and gives me some filter capabilities to quickly go through and identify what is happening within my queues. So what I can do is have a look at a specific queue if I'm needing to. Overflow queue is always the important one around support, and it can see, as of today, we've missed a single call. I can quickly activate this and call back, just to make sure that I'm not missing anything, and even give more information as to how long it was available. So it hung up after 30 seconds. It means chances are that they'd answered their own question or were able to resolve any problems that they had. And then I can even assign these different calls to different agents if required. Another part of the service desk or the contact center capabilities is an ability to quickly and easily view what's happening in the different queues. So down the bottom here, this replicates all of the queues that we've got active at the moment, and the queues that I may be logged in or out of. Now, I can be logged in queues, but because here I have a status of in a meeting or out of the office, it's not going to start bringing me in or offering me calls. It's only people who are identified as available. I can log into the queues quickly if needed. So if I see that these queues are starting to blow out, I can quickly jump in myself, or a supervisor can actively put me in or out of the queue. The last part I'll just show you on the soft client, on the basic soft client here, is some controls down the bottom, which allows you to set very quickly and easily what your primary device may be. And I work largely when I'm in the office off my soft phone, but I can change that quickly to the mobile. And that's now changed all of my call handling, my profiles and announcements, that it's going to operate as a mobile first user. Very easily done. An administrator or an IT manager is able to also do the same. You've got your standard capabilities like the mute. Can change to speakerphone if I'm needing to. and then back to headsets, toggle switches, and your volume control. And that's it on the basic level. As we drill deeper, what we've got the ability to do is, again, it's about individual users being able to manage or customize their own experience. And so from here, I've got options to be able to go in and change the likes of headset capabilities, what they may be, speakerphones, general capabilities, just simple on-off switches or toggles, so that I can configure the application to behave in a way that I want. A couple of very powerful capabilities, and I'll demonstrate these now, is around external applications and integration, and F8 dialing. So we'll get in and do some of that stuff now. So what I'll do is first is go and find somebody here. I'll find Eugene and make a call. I can see that he's busy at the moment, but he's set up for mobile twinning, so he can take a call. You can see here that he's away from his desk, indicated by within the chat. It's just got, he's either away from his desk or asleep under it. We're able to quickly give him a call just by clicking on the icon. This becomes a very visual process in the way that we handle calls. I can see that the call is being presented. It's on outgoing at the moment. And Eugene will have answered that now. And I can see that by green, that audio stream is live. Now, Eugene, you would have just muted that, which is perfect, so we don't have any feedback. So what I'm able to see within this calling panel is obviously the person I'm calling, an extension number, how long I've been on the call. Green indicates that it's live. If I put them on hold, very clearly shows that there is no voice path. So you're not chatting and going, oh God, I thought they were on hold. It's nice and clear, resumes the call. Now, my extension is 100% call recorded. So in monitoring this, it also tells me how long that recording's been made, but also has the ability for me to pause the recording. Now, the reason I have to have that ability is for PCI compliance, to make sure that I'm not storing or recording sensitive financial matters or personal information. So it's just an extra capability. As I go through and have a quick overview here, I can see that the network is excellent and also the audio quality should be perfect. All of the calls are encrypted as they need to be secure for certain regulations and certainly some of the government accreditations that we have. And we can obviously see that the server is certified. Capabilities or functions on here. Obviously, as you move into a soft client, you also need a keypad. So this is when you arrive at an IVR and go, oh, press 1 for sales, press 2 for accounts. Once that application or the icon is active, I can use my keypad to put in a number. It could be a complex, even account number. Sometimes the IVR or a DTMF tone request needs a fair sequence or chain of numbers. The next icon that's got here, which is grayed out on mine, is for ad hoc call recording. Ordinarily, that'd be a red dot indicating call recording. I mouse over it. When I click on that, what it does is simply conference in my voicemail. So that call recording or the call is being recorded and will deliver back to my voicemail, which I can then save, download, do whatever function I need. It's a very handy tool if you're wanting to be, you've got a busy reception desk and you need to take messages for doctors or some kind of complex detail. You simply record it and then you can forward it off to whoever the recording or message was for. What I can do, this next one indicates how the system can be easily integrated into Salesforce or into a cloud type product. So what's happened is in pressing this, it hasn't been able to identify, but it's done a search within Salesforce based on the caller line ID. Unfortunately, I dialed an extension, not a live number, but it's triggered automatically to look for that number within Salesforce. If it had have found a match, it would have simply presented that user or company for a really quick action within my CRM. Call transfer, the easiest way I find is if I'm wanting to put you through to support, for example, I find somebody from support, you've got the ability to just drag and drop. Okay, it's a very quick way to distribute calls. And as you can see on the bottom of my icon there, it indicates that there's a package that's been carried by my cursor, and wherever I drop it is where that call will be transferred to. Nicely, if I drop it to somebody who is busy, it simply gets managed by their call handling profile. So it may be that it will give them an option to leave a voice message or press 1 for another option. I can do hosted transfer simply by activating this. Let's put the first caller on hold. I now find my next who I'm wanting to transfer it to. And you'll see I've got another icon here, which is to activate the transfer. But first off, I may want to talk to Clint. See that he's able to accept the call, and then I activate it. So it's got full call handling function that you'd expect. Clint said, no, he's not able to take a call right now. So I'll simply go back to the original. Call's resumed. I can now be talking back with that client. It's about being highly visual and very easily to manage. Again, standard capability within the Mitel application is to do conference calling. So I've now got to put the first call on hold. I'm going to find somebody else. And I think I saw that Paul was available. So I look for Paul Pryor. He's not, well, I need him. So I'm just going to make him available. And then I'm going to give him a call. So not sure where this is going to end up, but once Paul answers, and even if it's voicemail, what it will do is activate my ability here to join him into a conference call. It's going to go to voicemail, I can tell. It's gone to voicemail. There's all the detail. I'm going to put him in anyway. So I'm transferred him into the conference, and now we've got a 3-party conference. I can extend this to 5-party if I require. And even once I've done the intro and started the conversation, I can even exit myself. And it'll give me the opportunity to say, look, are you wanting to hang up for all participants, or are they going to continue the call? And I say, look, yeah, we're going to hang up for everyone. So that's now cancelled and closes up that call. So that gives you some very good capabilities or good understanding as to how powerful the basic application is. What I'm going to do now is bring in my mobile phone and just demonstrate, obviously, the similarities between the two, because mobile is becoming more and more a requirement for individuals. Certainly when they're working from home, we've done a number of quite significant deployments now where users have been mobile only. So what I'll do is I'll just set this up so you can see the screens a little bit better. Now, as you can see, they look identical, and the similarities between the two is absolutely deliberate. This is developed as not a soft client to run on a mobile device. This is a proper mobile application, and it's quite unique because it just shows you the level of development that Mitel have put into this. A lot of people go, yeah, we can do this, but it is not the same. So if I go and have a look at Amon's details, you can see they're exactly the same as the capabilities down here. And I can start chat, I can manage it, I can see what his calendar's up to, etc. I can save him as a favorite, I can share details with him. Standard capability is, as you swipe to the right, oh, hang on, went too far. As you swipe, no, there you go. This is not going to work so well. Close all, open Mitel. So as I swipe to the right, it gives me all the different functions that I'd expect to find down the left here. So I've got my contacts. I can make calls. So it'll give basically all my call histories and details that may be active at the time. The information about me, what my state is, I can control what that presence looks like. So at no stage am I found that I don't have access to these capabilities. As I go further down, I've got Teams, so I've got all of the chat that I would have seen before. As you can see, I can continue chats and have access to the documents that I may need on the field. My dialer, if I'm wanting to use it as a standard phone. So the application has got a number of different configurations or settings that you can establish, and it works very well as a BYO device application, because if somebody's running their own mobile phone and they're paying for their own plan, what they can do is download this application from the web store. We activate it through authentication from our central management administration portal, and they have access to this. Now, what you're able to do is do VoIP calls directly, so dial it as you normally would, and what it does is uses Wi-Fi, or you can configure it to use 4G also to actually make the call. So the user's not incurring any costs, which is the important part. Your call logs, as you'd expect. ACD groups, as we get into this, Now, this gives the supervisor a lot of power in going through and being able to manage remotely the different capabilities that they would have seen before. So slightly different. I can log people in and out of queues. I can have a look at what the status of that queue is, and I can even go through, drill down, and go, okay, what's happening, to quite a deep level, and that's even when I'm out on the road from any application. So again, same look and view as you'd expect to find, quick and easily, as if you were just sitting at your desk. There's your missed calls, exactly the same there. As an application, you can set future presence, your diverts. The settings, again, can be user set up, and you can set your VoIP settings. For example, you're traveling overseas, you can be using Wi-Fi within McDonald's or the hotel, wherever you are, conference area, to be doing free calling and see presence and chat and be still fully connected with the rest of your office. So that goes through and shows, I guess, the power and diversity of how the system operates. What I'm going to do now is take us to some more capability around what you'd expect the system to be able to look at. We mentioned the full-time call recording. So these are all web applications. This is the login details on this is 100% secure and managed again centrally. So as I log in, I can now go in and visibly check out what's happening with the call recordings, and be able to manage download if I have rights. So basically, under the filters, what you're able to do on a full-time call recording function, based on whichever extension is being monitored, start refining what those calls may require by way of filter. So if you're searching for a specific number or an agent, or maybe you've already gone and tagged or flagged any of these calls, it's a quick way to get back and identify where these are. So as we run through, if I have a look at a call, there's one from me. This would have been one I did to Eugene a moment ago. I can go through and tag it, evaluate it, see exactly what that call is about. As I open it up, it gives me, again, the standard sort of media player type functionality. So I've got a real visual as to where the dead space is, ringing, etc. And I can simply play through it as I need to. Identify what I need, and now I can download it into a secure storage area if needed, or distribute. So I could now save that to a case sitting within my CRM if that's what I'm requiring. So quick and easy, 100% and stored on our own cloud status. As we go through, there's other capabilities that we can look at. Full-time guys, internet, Telepo, admin. So if I'm wanting to, an important part of managing any phone system is the ability to see what the call volumes are, understand what percentage of missed calls are. Possibly as a manager, you're wanting to see what call activity your staff are able to do. So just as a basic, we provide call reporting in a basic form, which I'll demonstrate for you now. If you're needing more advanced reporting, we can add additional licenses, which enables you to do things like scheduling. So on a Monday morning, you'll receive a report based on the previous 5 business days of activity. You might be monitoring a queue, or you may be looking at users, hunt groups, or certain service groups within there. Most importantly, just as a quick demo, if I go through and have a look, I'm wanting to look at, there are the queues, as you can see, related to where we are. I'll have a look at all of those queues because I'm wanting to see just a general health check on how that queue is performing. So what it's doing is it's collecting the data from our MyTel platform, and it gives us a quick visual on how the queues are performing. So we can see here that we do have a number of small missed calls, which are the ones I'll zoom in on. We can see here we had a bit of an influx at 9:30. Allows me to get a good idea as to possibly staffing levels if this becomes a consistent pattern. The blue line here tracks average speed to answer. which as you can see is sitting at around 30 seconds or below 30 seconds, which is well within our grade of service that we like to offer our clients. But what I'm wanting to do is to find out a little bit more about what those missed calls are. So what I can do is just open up some more detailed specifications. And as you can see here, I'm looking now at each individual call, cradle to grave type reporting. And what it does is gives obviously the date stamp, date, time, where the caller came from, what queue they hit, whether they were transferred, who answered the call, how long it was queued for, how long they were on the call. So it gives you all of that detail. You may have obviously a real large call volume that you're wanting to drill down on, and maybe you're just wanting to have a look at what the abandoned calls look like. So I can see over the period of the day, well, yesterday, we had 4 abandoned calls. Can see how they arrived. We've actually got a caller. These are internal calls. One's an external, 36 seconds. As you can see, nothing there is looking particularly troublesome. It's not like people have been sitting on a queue for 3 minutes and nobody's answering. So that's a quick health check. Every user, every system user on Telepo has access to this basic call recording. And from here, you can even do things like save a report, or you can export it into an Excel spreadsheet if you wanted to do more manipulation to that data. And set up the targets. As you can see here, I've got some saved reports. And it's nice and easy to go through and execute these reports, set them up on a standard schedule if you've got your advanced reporting. So there's a lot of power that you've got with the ability to see how those calls or your PAVX is performing. So that shows a couple of the real strong administration capabilities around the product. If you get into contact center, we've got the ability to provide wallboards, which I can give you a quick view on this now. So this is ideally if you're running a service desk and you're wanting to provide the capability to see, for example, what's happening with the different queues. I'll just have a look at this general support. We'll look at the support queue. So as I look in here, this is where you would have this shown on a large wallboard sitting within a service desk area. It enables the agents to self-manage, so they can see if there's a large volume of calls coming through. You can see and actually set visual triggers so that if, for example, there are not enough free agents sitting on each of the queues, it will indicate in red. And there's a lot of customization you've got around each of these queues in being able to make sure that the configuration is as you look. So you can set up your warning triggers, how the system performs, and even if you're wanting to, you can change the way the numbers look. So I'm wanting that to be real big and bold. I've got all that customization to make the look and feel exactly as I really require for the situation or the environment of my own contact center. Great customization around that. A few other administration tools. We've got network checks, downloads of applications, etc. What I'll do now is take you beyond what the actual application is, and what I wanted to show you is the back end. Now, obviously, when you're looking at systems or a voice platform, it goes beyond just what the users and administration require. You've also got an accounting capability around this. So what we've developed around all of our telco services is a single portal where clients can log in and have visibility around the accounting, around calling, being able to manage alerts, being able to set, for example, I can go and set up a profile for my mobile phones, and it might be based on certain criteria, and I'm wanting to allocate, for example, some shared data. So for a user, I'm wanting to give them 2 gigs out of it, or 5 gig out of a 10 gig bucket. It will reoccur every 1 gig. So it gives that flexibility. It's not a hard stop. And of course, if they exceed their 5 gigs, you don't want them to then lose all of their data access, so they can no longer perform their job. But what we do is we set out alerts. So we're able to notify the user that they're exceeding what their allocations are, but we're not inhibiting them on the ability to do their job. And then you can just set up and say, look, 10 gig, this is out of control. We're just going to stop you. So it gives you an idea as to, based on services, the levels of control you can set around this. From an accounting point of view, there may be some certain reports that you're wanting to bring. Now, this has got built-in scheduling. So it may be that your service desk needs to have a standard report, which is based on your toll-free. And that's scheduled to go out every Monday as a PDF, or it may be that you want to send it out historically. You can even download these as Excel, as I say, if you're wanting to build them into other reports, or even be able to give you the ability to upload this into Power BI or other devices. Now, the nice part about this is that on this one platform, I can now go through and identify all of the different services, and even put in details, for example, cost centers. Now, so by detail, this is our system. Each individual number or service can be drilled down on. And then each of those services can then be allocated to an individual cost center or a region. Again, nice and easily done. Now, the way we configure that is we simply download a file into Excel. You configure the Excel with the details you need, and then just simply upload it again. So again, nice and easily managed or created. And it gives you the single login to be able to manage the whole system, even to the point where you can log faults and manage any of the fault requests that you may already have. And so your support tickets, everything sitting in the one place, and you can quickly, easily see what's in progress and delve in for updates and notifications. So that looks at the application, the accounting capability, the power of the My Island portal. Last thing I'll do is just jump in quickly and give you a quick overview from an IT perspective. So IT managers, of course, will have a different requirement as to what they may want to or need to do. What I'm looking at here is my web application. So it shows me, again, all of my profiles, the SMSs. I can look at my inboxes and contacts, etc. So this gives a web version of what my soft client looks like. So it gives me an access from anywhere. If I look at my administration, I can log in now as a system administrator. So what this is looking at is the core infrastructure or the core settings and configuration within our instance of Mitel. So first thing gives you is a thumbs up. So everything is operating as it should do. So if I'm an administrator and I'm going, hang on, I've got a problem, this obviously very quickly gives me the indication that I need to now go and have a look at maybe a network or something else. The system's up and running. Nicely, it's got a help button here, which allows me to go through and look at all of the different functions of the platform, and search and find out what support or a certain organizational function I might be looking for. The support key is always up to date and easily found. It's broken easily down into a number of different sections here. So you've got the services which are set up around directories, things like a contact list. This might be something that you've got a user to manage, and it might be a receptionist, just to make sure that they're keeping a global contact list up to date with moves, adds, and changes. It doesn't have to be managed by an IT administrator. Rights can be given to an individual, as I say, receptionists or office managers to be able to manage directory informations, etc. as well. As an organization, you then start setting up some of the inherent rules around how the system would perform and what options the users would have. If I go into individual users, again, this is something that it's a nice, easy way of getting people to share the administration rights. So I can see at a glance here that I'm active on my mobile device. I've got internet access, soft client downloaded, and even a tablet, which is established. If I go in, I can now drill in and find out exactly what my profile looks like. And this is where a system administrator has got who has had training can go through and start managing internally without continually having to raise service or support desk tickets. As I mentioned, you can go through and I've got my soft clients, I've got my mobile devices, I'm enabled with my mobile VoIP. You've got control to turn that stuff on and off, which is important. I've got a desk phone, and I can go through and manage that remotely. Now, this is where it becomes really powerful that I'm managing the MyTel devices right to the endpoints. So this is the phone I've got, which is a 6867, and I can go through and start programming buttons remotely. So I have a button, I wanted to put in a phone number. It may be that it's somebody who is in my team, they've just started. I can search, yeah, Eugene, that's the one. That button is now programmed. And I can go through and do a number of different settings as to number of line appearances, etc. I can reboot the phone and even update or do soft and firmware updates remotely. So it's at the control level on the soft phones and users is absolutely fantastic. If I go through and I look at the likes of service, I'm wanting to see what's happening with my different queues. As you can see, we've established a number of different queues, all of which have their different inherent rules and setups. But as I start looking at these, I say, okay, something I need to change here. Administration overflow. Okay, yep, that's the number I'm after. How does this perform? So it defaults to here, and then I can see it just straight lines out. So that it gives me a real visual as to how that queue is performing. If I look at something a little bit more complex, I've got something where I've got a day and night mode set. If it goes to the auto distribution group, I've got a number of options, IVRs, which can sit within there. And if I go and then drill down to what happens, and you can see here, this gets very large. It gives you an idea for a visualization as to how each of these different users is set up, who's involved, etc. So I can print this and save it. This is a whole of organization route. So we know that the account managers will have, their queues will be answered quickly and easily. That as an overview probably gives you enough information to start with. As I say, this is live. We can control who has access to what functions by login credentials. So a reception, for example, may be able to change a directory and possibly update some user information. If you're a first level IT support, you might be able to do some services around recording voicemail messages or possibly even get into some IVR function. But it just means that we can control it to the point where people aren't able to, if you like, break or make adjustments to the system that you're not wanting to be enabled. So that gives you an overview. What we'll do now is just have a quick look and see if there are any chat questions that have come up, and go through and answer those. So if I look here, chat. Okay, the recording started. Doesn't look like there's anything there. We'll just wrap it up there. If there's any questions, feel free to contact your Digital Island support representative. Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you, Clive.